8th grade, I was voted most likely to be successful. And I know it's that one superlative they think they give to that one nerd they think is going to make it big in life. And 13-year-olds are the greatest judge on who's going to do well in life. So anyways, I'm supposed to know a thing or two about what it means to be successful. And a question I often ask myself is, what do I need to be successful? Well, that leads me down a rabbit hole to what is success? Well, let's consider the American ideal of success. You go to a top-tier college right out of high school. As soon as you're out of college, you get to a well-earning job. Then you get promoted and get a 6-figure salary. Then you buy a house, get married, have kids, have a job, simple. And your success as a parent is often reduced to something just as confoundingly simplistic. What college your child goes to. And that poor kid has to go through the same rinse and repeat cycle. It's tiring just to think about, but that's often how we equate success. Which begs the question, are we correctly defining success? The answer is no. So today, we're going to reframe the definition of success in 3 steps. First, we're going to tackle how the modern understanding of success got so distorted. Second, we'll analyze the consequences of this mistake. And finally, we'll take a look at what can be done towards the recovery of what success should really be about. The current Merriam-Webster definition of success is a favorable or desired outcome, the attainment of wealth, favor, or eminence. Well, there was actually 2. The other one was one that succeeds, so we're just going to go with the first one. So this is how we portray success: wealth, favor, eminence. But it's not just enough to be wealthy, favored, or appreciated. You have to be the wealthiest, the most favored, the most appreciated. Let's break this down into a more relatable example. Let's take speech and debate. Who of you here have done incredibly well in a tournament, got 2nd place, and felt horrible about it? Show of hands. Appreciate the honesty. Well, I'm guilty of that. 2nd place used to be viewed as achievement, but now there are so-called inspirational quotes like 2nd place is just the 1st place loser, and no one remembers who came in 2nd. To truly understand how the modern distortion of success in America came to be, we must go to where it all started. The starting of how we define success in America started with the founding of our country, the Pilgrims. The Pilgrims practiced a branch of Christianity known as Calvinist Christianity. They viewed wealth as an outcome of faith. The pursuit of wealth was a religious calling or duty. So the bigger your house was and the more wealth you had, the more God loved you. The poorer you were, the less God loved you. This was a sort of linking success to wealth or materialistic possession. So our definition of success started at a time where slavery and sexism were considered ethical. Yet the definition has not evolved. So many of you are going to be sitting there and thinking, you're talking about some Merriam-Webster dictionary. I don't consider that to be success. I feel perfectly successful. According to Elite CV, 98% of people die without fulfilling their goals and dreams, meaning only 2% of people become successful in life. Most people die with regrets of what they should have done and what they missed out on. If we truly look at why, it is because we all put our efforts into achieving the American ideals of success. College admission, which many of you here can relate to, is often not just about what college you want to go to, but doing better than your peers and getting into college for prestige. Even if you ask young children, their answers will be, I want to go to Harvard, I want to go to Yale. It's because we only consider getting into the top 10 universities a success that so many students feel like they aren't successful. I remember vividly dropping off my overachiever brother at Berkeley. As soon as we drove out onto the campus, I started crying. Not just because I would miss him. Honestly, I got to take his room, and that was a lot less smelly socks in my future. I started crying because I was scared. I was so scared of not being successful. I was scared that I would not be able to meet the expectations that had been set for me. I felt my breathing getting worse and worse. I was panicking. Sadly, this is not a random outburst from a kid. This is the norm for a good amount of our youth. According to Mission Harbor Behavioral Health, anxiety disorders are the most common mental health condition to affect teenagers. At age 13, about 8% of US teens have a diagnosable anxiety disorder. By 18, up to 15% of all teens experience symptoms of clinical anxiety disorder. It's not just panic attacks, but attempted or suicide. According to the CDC in 2020, according to data from a nationally representative sample of emergency departments, EDs, approximately 105,000 youths aged 14 to 18 years visited EDs for self-harm injuries. The consequences of our mistake are that our youth feel so strongly that they're failures that they try to end their lives. So many of our youths in sports teams, in schools, and extracurriculars at home feel like they aren't good enough, that they aren't successful, even if they're one of the best. This problem is not just affecting our youth, but all age groups. Now we see so many people backpacking through Nepal in a midlife crisis, soul searching. Well, I hate to break it to you, your soul's right here. So how do we fix a mindset that is so deeply ingrained in American society? The solution that I have to this confoundedly simplistic definition of success is confoundedly simplistic. See what I did there? Okay. So success for each person is different. Maybe I don't want to go to Harvard and become a doctor. Maybe I want to go to culinary school and become a chef. I might never become Gordon Ramsay, but I will be happy. I will be happy in what I do. In the end, that's what success is about. A successful life if you have achieved what makes you happy. That might not be what society considers success, but in the end, when you look back, you'll smile because you're happy with what you have achieved. I am Asian American with highly qualified, educated parents. And because of that, people often say, okay, so you're good at math and you want to be either a doctor, engineer, or mathematician. Well, I hate to break it to you, I suck at math and I wouldn't try to be an engineer if you paid me $1 billion. Because it wouldn't make me happy. Now you're probably thinking, wow, she's telling us to be happy, like I didn't know that before. What I'm trying to tell you is to find that balance. This is the key to the solution I am proposing, a balance. When I say to be happy, I'm not telling you to drop out of high school or quit your jobs. I'm telling you that this balance between what is needed for reality, economic stability, and what makes you happy is different for each person. Right now, the problem is we're so focused at this age on academic excellence and success standards. And suddenly you're 40, and you're not happy. But you can't go back and change the last 25 years. Maybe Harvard is not the right fit for you. Maybe you want to go to a smaller college and pursue something more artistic. Maybe. The choices are limitless. A few years ago, Dan Price, the CEO of a credit card company, did something unimaginable. He took a pay cut about $1 million and changed his company's minimum wage to $70,000. Economically, this would not be considered successful. But today, his company is thriving, and he has something that is rare in large companies: the happiness and trust of his employees. The reason I value happiness is I'm a person who was given a lease on life. I was born with congenital heart defects and had surgery. A boy, the son of a family friend who had the same defect, the same surgery, the day before, has a pacemaker. But I was given the gift of being normal. So perfectly normal. Normal is good. You don't have to be something so extremely extraordinary. We were all given a life, a story that you get to write, that your thoughts, your actions impact. I ask you to put down the burden of being that perfect person that society values and become a person that you value. So when you're at your finish line and you look back and you say, yeah, I had a great life. I feel successful about my life. Today, we discuss the modern distortion of success, how it came to be, the consequences of that, and how we can fix the problem. Yes, this answer is to simply be happy. Find that balance between reality and your happiness. Be you. Success is different for each person. God does not love wealthier people more. It's all about mindset. It's not thoughts that I can force into you, but it's about your perception. I ask you to change your perception for the betterment of yourself so we can reduce this pressure that we put on each other. And so we can have fewer people trying to end their lives. Fewer people feeling like failures. Use this life that you have been gifted with and enjoy it. I may not go to Harvard. I may not be the stereotypically perfect Asian student, but hell, I'm gonna be happy. Thank you.